Hello, everyone. So, we are officially in that really awkward period of Halloween where it's over and we don't want to talk about Halloween anymore. But we're coming up on Christmas, but we still got Remembrance Day to get through. The state still has to get through Thanksgiving and their Black Friday insanity. So, we're not quite ready to talk about Christmas yet, but we're done talking about Halloween. So, I'm just going to fill the void for the next month with other stuff. So I thought I would start off back from my little bit of a break of recording with Zach Kreger's, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Oh well, we're gonna keep rolling here. Barbarian. So this movie did just come out a few months ago, like end of August, beginning of September. This is going to contain spoilers. You're cool with that? Awesome. Stay. If you've seen the movie, awesome. If you haven't seen the movie, you're cool with it being spoiled? Cool. If you're not down for that, either go watch the movie and come back or just get. Or there's a spoiler-free version on my TikTok. Horrorfile62318. Have we figured out what we're doing? Okay, let's continue. So to start, Barbarian has a really amazing cast. Our main heroine is played by Georgina Campbell. Her character's name is Tess. Then we have some talent in the male roles, such as Keith, played by the talented Bill Skarsgård. We have AJ, played by Justin Long, which, funny enough, right before I watched this movie, I was kind of thinking what he was up to these days, and lo and behold. We also have creepy-ass Frank, played by Richard Brake, and if you've seen the movie, you know why he's creepy. And we have kind of our lovable homeless guy, kind of a bit of a comic relief, Andre, played by James Butler. So let's get into me just rambling about this movie. So to start off, what I love about Barbarian is it honestly keeps you guessing and second guessing yourself. So this movie is very well written that you're kind of sitting there at first like, oh, this is so predictable, this, and this is going to happen. But then something goes down that is just nothing that you would have suspected whatsoever. And this movie is a little harder to predict. It gets a little predictable at the end, but they all do. But at the same time, it really keeps you on your toes, and it is a roller coaster. For example, I thought Justin Long was the main villain in this movie. And when you load up the movie on Disney Plus, like, you kind of have him looking like really disheveled and kind of like gross and greasy, so you really think that. But he's not. Well, he's kind of a villain in this movie. I'm not going to go into details on that. I'll leave that for you to figure out on your own. The main villain is actually Frank, and it's gross. Before I go any further, there will be some trigger warnings explained about assault and sexual assault if that is too much for you. I don't go into too much details, but I just feel it's right to kind of, give you a little warning on this. Alright, let's continue. So for a bit of an overview, we learn Tash, she has driven into Detroit, which is where Barbarian takes place, and she's booked into this little B&B. She gets there late at night, and Key's not there. She can't get into the house, so she starts banging on the door because somebody gets up and is moving around in the house. So she's like, okay, this person can help me. And it's Bill Skarsgård's character, Keith. Turns out they're both booked into the same B&B. It was double booked. So after her trying to find somewhere else to stay, Keith insists that she spends the night. They've both booked in. They'll call the place in the morning, get their money back. He's a gentleman, takes the couch, gives her the bed. No problem. Tess gets up the next morning. She's got this big interview. She goes, makes it, nails it, and then heads back to the B&B. Now, when we get back to the B&B with Tess, we find out Keith is kind of taken off for the day. Well, we found that out before she went to her interview, but regardless. Our lovable homeless guy, Andre, comes running after her, screaming, going crazy, and she's just like, oh, hell no. Gets into the house really quickly, slams the door, locks it. She's done. She decides, nope, I'm out of here. I'm going to find somewhere else to stay. Like, this is too rough of a part of town. That kind of thing. And so she starts packing. then she has to go in the basement for something. Again, I'm not gonna like completely spoil this movie, I'm gonna leave some of it a mystery. Goes into the basement, and thanks to it being an older house, the door slams shut on her. She's locked in. So she's kind of waiting around, her phone, all that. They're upstairs. She can't get out of this basement. Oh wait, no, she had the phone on her. My bad. No, she didn't. Now I remember, she did not have her phone on her, because then she could have called for help at least. Regardless, she goes kind of snooping around, trying to find a way out. She finds a creepy passageway. She kind of starts going through the creepy passageway, and then all of a sudden Keith comes home. Keith gets her out of the basement. She's freaking out. She's ready to go. And Keith's like, no, let's go explore this basement. Meanwhile, she's being smart. She's like, hell no, let's go. And Keith's just like, no, I'm going to stay. Can you just stay so I don't get locked in the basement? Which, fair. We hear some commotion going on in the basement. And she goes down and goes right down the secret passage because why the hell not? And then it kind of cuts to Justin Long. And he's some big Hollywood movie star. He gets canceled, again, for certain reasons. Not going to go into too much detail on that. It's a little minor to the story, but like kind of major. So we find out that AJ, played by Justin Long, actually owns this B&B. So he goes down to Detroit. He's trying to sell up some of his properties down there for money issues. Ends up in that B&B. Figures out there was people checked in there. They don't know where any of them are. It's not showing that they're still checked in. So it's like, okay, whatever. So he ends up going down in the basement, goes through the secret tunnels. Then it also flashes years back, where we find out Richard Brake's character Frank owned that house originally. And he did some messed up things. He was kidnapping women. He was aggressively sleeping with them. I don't know. That is like the nicest way I can put this. And basically having babies with these women over and over again. And it's really messed up. We don't actually see any of it happen, but they show enough that you know what he's doing. Again, hence the trigger warning. So, flashback to the future. Bill Skarsgård's character is long dead by now. AJ is stuck down in this basement with Tess, and there is just this creature. But this creature is actually a woman who is Frank's daughter, / like, I think granddaughter, maybe even great-granddaughter at this point, because he's had so many women down there abusing them and having children with them, and then just kind of procreating with these children. So this creature is basically the result of a lot of incest here. And again, gross. That's another good thing about this movie and keeping you guessing, because it makes you really wonder who the real victim of the story is. Is it Tess, who is like, this creature has this attachment to her and will stop at nothing to get from her, even when her and AJ escape? Is it Keith or AJ or Andre, who all died trying to protect her? Okay, maybe not AJ, because if you've seen it, he's kind of a dick and a major idiot, so he kind of gets what's coming to him. And Frank is definitely not the victim. He's gross. Or is it this creature that's been locked in a basement that doesn't know anything and has just been secluded and a recluse and just so accustomed to darkness in these tunnels under this B&B for ages? But again, as long as we all agree Frank is not the victim, Frank is gross. So, overall, I love this movie. Only issue I really have with it, and it's very minor, is the ending when they're trying to get away from this creature. It definitely just keeps going on and on and on. Like, it just keeps getting dragged out to the point where it's like, oh, come on. Like, come on. We've seen this, like, just finish it. And then they finally do, which is nice. So, overall, this movie is incredibly well done. The filming, the plot, the timing, the characters, and the casting. I might have already said that. I don't know. I'm not going back. I highly recommend you to go watch this if you haven't already. And if you have seen it, go watch it again. Again, you can find Barbarian. It's currently streaming on Disney Plus, Or you can be like me and most collectors and support the art and just go buy the Blu-ray or DVD. Or if you don't want to, I'm sure you can find it used. Support a local business. I do. That's how I get most of my movies. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more content over the next month. See you next time.